Yeah, so I'm Malcolm Smith. I'm from Longmont, Colorado, and my project was related to VexIQ parts. And so Vex is a robotics program that a lot of kids are doing, and my project is able to identify these, or is a prototype of something that can identify these Vex parts in order to help teach these students about the program. Yeah, so I got into the kind of WAICY in this project through my work on a project team at the St. Vrain Valley Schools Innovation Center. And that's the place that hosted the regional WAICY event for Colorado and for the Midwest region. And through that program, I worked on a lot of AI related projects, and this was one of the projects that I was working on through that program. And then because we were also becoming very integrated with WAICY and we were going to host WAICY, I was able to use that idea or that thing that I've been working on and present it as a project. It's definitely tricky and challenging, especially when you're doing a project that requires a lot of programming, because for programming, it's hard to know exactly how long a project will take, and you'll have a lot of bug fixing that you have to do. So there was one bug that I ran into that took me like hours and hours of trying and reprogramming, and I tried to like make my own algorithm to redo the meshes of 3D renders and stuff, and it was a whole process. And there's no way to really predict how long a project will take if you're running into issues like that. I was able to spend some time in school, but most of the time was spent after school on the project team at the Innovation Center, like I mentioned. And so having a set time after school where I was able to work on this and projects like it was really helpful. Yeah, so it was a lot larger process than I thought it would be, especially for getting the data. So this is kind of the thing that I mentioned in the presentation and everything, but you have these parts and there's a bunch of them, like 400 different parts. And so you need to get data for all of that because all of machine learning runs on data. And so I wrote a program that would use another rendering software to render the CAD files of all the Vex parts, and realizing that I had to do that and go from, okay, I want to make a system to identify these parts to, okay, now I need to write a program to generate thousands of pictures for data. And going through that process and development, I think, was one of the more challenging aspects. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff in computer science robotics. I'm on a FIRST robotics team, Up a Creek Robotics, and that's something where I'm doing a lot of mechanical stuff to kind of supplement what I'm doing with software. But for this project particularly, I used Teachable Machine as the actual AI model behind what I was doing. And so to extend on this, I want to switch to what people in the industry are actually using. So I'm working through Jupyter Notebooks, PyTorch, building models with that, and traditional optimization methods to really get into the nitty-gritty of how the model works and being able to make it like rebuild the model from scratch using the new data set and everything that I've gained. So I think that this project has really provided me with an opportunity to get into learning about AI and really have an excuse to go into it and spend a lot of time figuring it out. I mean, WAICY is just really cool. And it's really cool to be able to make projects and solve problems using AI. And I think AI is it's a fun space to engineer solutions in, and it's not just a set amount of problems. Like, it's not just image classification. It's taking all of the different aspects of writing. It's like writing software, but with extra things that go into it to make it more interesting, and the data and the nuances of how models are trained and everything that goes on there. And I think that just makes it a really interesting problem to solve. And so when you're making projects for WAICY, it's a really good reason to spend time on solving these problems and working through all of that.